It is time. It is time. So, why don't you go ahead and pull up a chair? Time to get down to the business. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, Mr. Jason Black. Glad to be with you all here this evening. And it is Friday the 13th. For those of you who are not aware, it is now Friday the 13th, and I've decided we'll have our own little horror show here. So my name is Jason, and in true Jason style here, we're going to go ahead and open up the telephone lines for my critics, haters, and debaters, since they've been asking for that. And you're certainly welcome to give us a call. Also, let me go ahead and put this in the chat room as well. If you want to call us on Zoom, that message is pinned to the top of the chat. Glad you all like that there. That message is pinned to the top of the chat. But in the meantime, you can go ahead and give us a call. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. 646-787-1933. 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the business. And also, you have the option of being on Zoom as well. So for all the females out there who are 8s and 10s, if they want to preempt me from asking about it, by the way, that does give you one option available to you. Now, the reason why I do these types of programs here is because from time to time, you will hear people say things like, oh, well, Jason, let them talk. Let them talk. Jason, why don't you let him speak down? They'll go babbling and things. So tonight is one of those rare occasions where I will allow you to call in and you can explain what I get wrong, what I've gotten wrong, what you think is wrong, what you think is an error. You can't blame anybody for not being able to call up. You can't blame for not being able to call in. You won't be able to blame anybody for that. And while we're doing this tonight, go ahead and make sure you share tonight's program. YouTube is going to try to keep our numbers down, obviously. They're going to try to keep our numbers down, so make sure you go ahead and share that as well. A lot of things in particular also to take a look at because, for example, over time here, there are folks who have attempted to say, oh, Jason's a hater and this, that, and the other. I think the events of the last week and a half have certainly put the lie to that. You'll have a very difficult time getting those people to show themselves, but this is an opportunity for them to do that, by the way. But you're more than welcome to give us a call at that as well. For some of the folks there, if you disagree with the comments that have been made here earlier about Kendra G, whether or not women will work as hard as men, you have that option also. If you say that we're dead wrong, you can go ahead and give us a call on that. If you're a woman over the age of 35 and you dispute that you are done or aged out, this is an opportunity for you to go ahead and speak. If you are a fella whose money has never been correct and you wish to tell everybody that money doesn't matter, this is your opportunity to do so. You can't blame anybody but yourselves. If you don't, but this will be your opportunity to weigh in as well. Let me check here. I'm trying to make sure Zoom is working correctly. All right, Zoom is working correctly here. And I'm going to leave that available here for a little while. so far, my critics, haters, and debaters have not called in. I could just ask where y'all at. But it's your opportunity to go ahead and call up that any other time they would. All the little old hating ladies, it's Friday, you're sitting at home alone. It's just you and Netflix and no chill. Got you and some brandy or some other alcoholic beverage. You're blaming men. You're blaming your dad. You're blaming society. It's everybody else's fault here. This is your opportunity. You can go ahead and call us up and regale us with your wisdom about it. If you're a fella out here and you're upset because, well, Jason, you're making it hard on us out here. We don't understand why it is that you just don't understand that we really winning. Or at least we shouldn't be shamed or anything for that. Well, go ahead and give us a call. And by the way, if you go on to Zoom, if you click the link for going into Zoom, if you just go into the room and leave, you will be blocked. So you have been warned. The whole purpose of going on the Zoom is so if you want to be on there, if you think you're going to go on there and take a look around, not a great idea. However, it is open lines here today. So the telephone number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the business. I'm going to go ahead and open up the phone lines here now. Let me get caller from area code 618. You're on live with the business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, how you doing, man? My name Brandon. I'm from St. Louis.
Okay, his struggle phone is already breaking up. Try again, sir. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name Brandon. I'm from East St. Louis.
All right, Brandon from East St. Louis. And what is your critique, hate, or debate?
Well, the thing is, I feel like, see, my BM, she got a good job, you know what I'm saying? And I take care of the house. So when you be like a man, really don't have to have money. I mean, when you be like a man, got to have money. I really feel like if one of your partners is bringing in the bread, really, I could just sit back and just take care of the household.
Okay. Well, about your female there, let me find out. How old is she?
She's 36. I'm 31.
She's 36. You're 31. How many children does she have?
She got 3 by me, and she got 2 others before me.
Okay. Well, I mean, so, yeah, I mean, she has to take care of a dude. When you're a chick who got kids, you got to pay as you weigh. So it's not as if she's a top-of-the-line chick who can, pick from the pick of the litter. She got to get in where she fits in. So, of course, she has to pay a man to stick around. That's a hard reality for him. But when you're a woman who screwed up early in life, yeah, you got to pay for male company. It's not like she qualifies for a man who would take care of her. So, yeah, she's one of these chicks who has to pay for male company.
But I feel like also, like, I take care of the household. You feel me? Like, if we both, like, she got a good paying job. If we both was to work right now, like, really, who would take care of the kids? Like, really, right now, her mother and everything, like, my family, I don't really want my kids around. I don't really think my family's had to really take care of that. So, since I'm her, I'm just doing it right now.
Okay.
So that's the only reason why, like, I say, like,
but
my
what
money
is
ain't
it?
that, but her.
But what is it
mine.
that you're doing, though?
Oh, I'm taking care of the household.
You're taking care of the household. How, sir?
Cooking, cleaning, take care of the kids. Taking them to school and that.
Okay, and after you take them to school,
driving them to school.
After you take them to school, what happens for the other 8 hours of the day there then?
I'm jugging, you know what I'm saying? Like, I do the things on the side, you know what I'm saying, and get, my little money in and whatnot, the pocket change with like that. But other than that, like, we just had 2 other kids, so they at the house full time. So, you know what I'm saying, they with me most of the time. Like, we got 3 of them that's in school.
Okay, so you're saying, well, there's 5 kids total in the house?
Absolutely.
Okay. And let me find out here. How much money does your woman make a year?
Oh, like, I'm going to say like 70, almost 70,000.
And how much money do you make a year?
Shit. I'll put it to you really like this, man. I must say 0 for right now because of the only fact, like, I ain't working and nothing like that, and like little hustling on the side. Like, I ain't really been adding up all the, like, you know, $50 her, you know what I'm saying? Because most of that be spent on little stuff, you know what I'm saying? Just personal stuff, clothes, all that.
Okay.
But like, if I was to really estimate it for like,
well, if you
last
were,
year,
but
maybe like,
if you're saying you're not making any money, then your answer is 0. Now,
all right.
here's my thing. There's a house with 7 people in it. Do you live in a house or an apartment?
It's her mother's house that she passed down.
Okay. How many
So
bedrooms?
basically, like, the house,
how many
the house
bedrooms does the house have?
5 bedrooms, 3 upstairs, and like we got 2 downstairs in the basement.
Okay. So you have 7 people living in the house. 7. 5 bedrooms, 7 people. Even if you and your woman are in the same bedroom, that still only leaves 4 bedrooms left over for 5 kids. She makes $70,000 a year. You make asterisk. Now, think about this for a few moments. Think about this for just a few moments. You say, I be around the house and I'm taking care of things. There's one thing that you're not taking care of, your children's future. How in the world are you supposed to support 6 people on $70,000 a year, sir? That's like $11,000 a head. Sir, how can that be?
Well, I ain't even gonna lie to you, man. Like, we struggling. We talked about it. Like, we talked about me, you know, when the 2, when Jeremiah and his sister, when they get older, I talked about when they get old enough to go to school and everything like that, because they big brother and them be able to take care of them. Then I feel like that's when I can just go on out and start working, and, you know, do my thing like that.
Okay, but here's the real thing about it. How old is the oldest child you have in the house?
The oldest child is 10.
Okay. So that means it's going to be at least 8 years before they're gone. Your wife is the breadwinner of the family. She's only making around $70,000 a year. Now, by the way, after taxes, how much is she making?
Ooh, probably about close to 47, maybe.
Okay.
No. Probably about 50, in the 50s.
Well, I'll be generous and I will spot her and say she's only paying 10 in taxes. Let's just leave her with $60,000. So, all things remaining equal, at best, it's going to be $10,000 a head. Even if we remove her tax burden altogether, that's $10,000 a head. And she's carrying the whole,
Well,
and
I'm
she's
pretty
carrying
sure, like,
the whole weight for it. $10,000 a head. Sir, how in the world are your children getting ahead in life under these circumstances?
Well, really, I feel like things could be better. I ain't even gonna lie. Like, I'm on the edge. Like, honestly,
think?
since I started listening to your show. I kind of been on the edge, like, getting everything together. But then when I hear some of the hard talk you be talking about, I really be like, well, damn, really, you know, me not having no job, nothing like that. Really, we surviving, but I know it could be better.
I concur.
So really, this call really is the not really go against what you're saying, but maybe take a little advice.
Okay. First and foremost here, you're in your mid-30s. You have a woman and a gang of kids. First and foremost, brother, how in the hell did you end up in this? I know East St. Louis is grimy. I get it. Dude, what happened? What made you think that this was the move?
Well, she was holding me down, like for real. Like after I got knocked up,
holding you down, all right. Okay, sir. It's the year 2022. What in the jumping jack flash hell are you doing getting females pregnant out here? What are you doing?
I mean, like I put it, man. I'm a man, like, you know what I'm saying. So, but my thing is, I stepped up, like, you feel me?
Okay,
Like,
sir. Okay, he skipped right by that, sir. That's not man behavior. That's marsupial behavior. That's animalistic behavior. A man is not supposed to be creating children for anything other than his legacy. You didn't plan anything. You chose a female who was the worst candidate. She's dealing with a bunch of struggle because her sexual behavior has been bad at worst, reckless, bad at best, and reckless at worst. And now she's drawn you into it. You're supposed to get with somebody because there's an advantageous position. Well, it sounds to me like you're one of these fellas who needs a place to lay his head because your money ain't never been right, and hers is better than yours, which is not a very high bar to clear. But, that's like being the prettiest frog in the swamp. It's not a high bar to clear. So I'm just saying, it sounds like that's the situation. Like, your money ain't never been right. Your situation ain't never been right. She's a strong foe. And you just got in where you fit in. But it's not like this situation is putting you ahead, man.
But like for right now, only time will tell. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, the time's already told. Time is already told, sir. Oh no! It's not time will tell. Yeah, time will tell in 9 months. Yikes! Here we are. Yeah, we already have the final election results, sir. It's not hard to figure out. You're stuck in a house with 5 kids. 3 of them ain't yours, biologically.
Yeah.
How long have you been with this woman?
Man, like 5 years. We've been off and on for
okay
7. I was locked up, but for 5 years we've been living together.
All right. So we got a jailbird who flew the coop. We got a East St. Louis thought who then got knocked up by him and all the other death row inmates. Here's the real thing about it, by the way. You said we've been on and off for 5 years. Why were you off?
Locked up.
Okay, because you were locked up, that's the time that you all were not in a relationship, is what you're saying?
Well, 7 years total, like 5 years living together. So I was locked up for 2 years. When I got out, you know what I'm saying?
What were you locked up for?
She got pregnant. Say that one more time.
What were you locked up for?
Okay. Manslaughter, but
of course
they basically finna manslaughter, but basically they finna drop those.
They finna drop. It was manslaughter, but Jason, I can explain. Okay. Because this is so, exactly the kind of guy you would want to get pregnant by the way. You certainly would never want to get pregnant by the high school nerd. Not him. Doctor, lawyer, not him. She steered around all of those on the way through her Instagram stories to come find this paragon of virtue on the phone here. So, no, I'm not even going to ask him how it happened. I'm not even going to ask. I don't even want that story. But what I will say is, yeah, this keeps getting better here. So, sir, the time that...
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, you all have been together for basically 5 years. If you were really that serious about her, why have you not... It doesn't take you 5 years to figure out if you want to marry her. Why have you not married her?
Shit, really? I mean, it's almost. I mean, it's like we is. I mean, we stay.
No,
I mean,
it's not. No, it's really not like.
Honestly,
No, it's really not like we is. No, it's not.
Well, honestly, I feel like anything might change with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. It's been times when we didn't argue. She didn't. You know what I'm saying? Get out the crib. So no telling how she can flip. You know these females nowadays. No telling how she can flip. So really, I ain't never bust the question because it's like, you know what I'm saying? I kind of feel like if I leave anyway, like she'll go and find another motherfucker anyway. I really, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just holding it down because of the kids. Really.
I mean, but here's the thing, brother. Your value is very low. And because your value is very low, it's got you in a situation here where you are not really, you having to sit up here and take booger wolves. Come on, man. This is a bad situation. You went to jail. Okay, you're supposed to leave that behind you. You don't come out here and get into a worse situation. That's not what you do.
Yeah, but I'm like I said, I'm just making it better for the future. Like, you know, I just feel like I can really get things
making it
going,
better for the future. Making it better for whose future? How?
For my children.
Sir,
yeah.
But sir, you're a felon and you don't work. And your woman got 3 other kids by God knows how many other dudes. And you're playing Mr. Mom. What exactly is it you're built? That's what the whole thing I said was about having children, about having a legacy. What legacy are you building? You're sitting at home all day.
Exactly, taking care of my children. Like,
but if they're not at home, you're not taking care, sir. You're not taking care of them if they're not at home. So
when they come at home, basically, you know what I'm saying? Like, I do all that, cook, clean, all that.
Okay, sir, here's the issue. The issue is you got 5 mouths to feed, 6 mouths if you count her. And you're, as the man, you do realize you're taking on a subordinate role to your woman. And your attitude, your mannerisms, your philosophy, everything you're saying is all in line with I am submitting to her. Because by definition, you are not her financial nor social leader. She's not looking up to you for anything. She has a male in the home, but she doesn't have a masculine leader. So you're at home being the beta, but you're not leading anything. And what that means is she could take you or leave you. That's the problem. There is.
But see, now you sound like her family. Now, so what you expect me to do?
Well, Negro, take a clue, catch a clue, man. You sound like her family. Wow. If you're hearing this from more than one person, you might want to stop telling yourself you're right about everything and start catching a clue. If you're hearing this from a bunch of random people, they're all saying the same thing. So we're all just wrong and you just right.
Nah.
You're hearing this from multiple people. Well, I don't know why y'all saying that there. You sound just like them. Sir, if you don't hear anybody taking your side, that's your first clue that something's wrong on your end.
All right, but it just seems like everybody just saying get a job. Like, I feel like,
wow, that's so onerous. Oh, that's so awful. That's so unreasonable. That's so unreasonable. Everybody's saying get a job. Yes, because that's just so unreasonable, isn't it? Wow, that's just so out of the ordinary.
That's you know how much it costs to take children to a babysitter, something like that. Like for
Okay,
real. Like,
you made
I'm
them,
just saying, like, if they
but
got older,
you made them. And you can't make no money sitting on
they're
your
not
ass.
fulfilled.
You can't make no money sitting on your ass watching Sesame Street waiting for them to come home. Dude,
True.
you're the one acting
True.
like one of the kids. This is what I'm talking about, man. You get these boys raised by these single moms in these damn project cities. They grow up and they just in and out of trouble. They don't have a problem getting a chick pregnant because he ain't got nothing to lose at the time.
Well, how
and
you know I
then
was
later
raised by my
he
mama?
wants to,
Like,
sir, if you, sir.
because I was. I ain't gonna lie, I was.
Okay, thank
And my
you, sir.
auntie.
Let's just skip by that, okay? If you got to ask, it would take too long to explain. Let's just skip right by that. In any case, brother, like I say, y'all sit up here and do this stuff early. You got some older chick who her situation ain't right. Your situation ain't right. Y'all got together. There is no clear agenda. How much does she weigh? And be honest. Don't lie. Nigga, don't lie. How much does she weigh?
She like 230, 240.
Whoa. Slow down. I heard two something. What was it?
She like 220, 230, like 5'9".
5'9", 220, 230. So she.
But that really ain't that big. Like,
man.
If you look at her height.
This is how you got in
If
this
you look at her
mess.
height, like.
Nigga, these are. So what you saying is she's a prison dime. She's a dime for a nigga that done did 4-5 years. Sir, it's time to let that go.
No.
Let that go.
No. For real.
Sir, what I'm going to tell you, okay, what I'm going to tell you is you need to start having some standards for yourself. You need to start insisting on some standards for yourself, because right now you can't have any respect for yourself under these circumstances. It's bad enough that you got a butterball built baby mama, and that's what you came out of jail, and that's the first thing you grab. You couldn't even do the Jeremy Meeks thing and at least get a real chick. Okay, it's bad enough you chose this, but right now, bro, you scraping the bottom of the barrel, starting with yourself. If she died tomorrow, God forbid, but if she did, your children would be looking at you. And right now, there's not a masculine leader there. So the first thing is, as a man, you're supposed to take on as much responsibility as you can, not as little. You're not building anything. If your children do have anything, they're not going to be respecting you for it. They're not going to be looking at something, my dad built this. Dad ain't building nothing. They're going to be talking about mom did this. That's what they're going to be saying.
All she is bringing in the money. I feel like,
wow, did he really just say all she doing is?
Exactly. All she doing is bringing in the
money. All she doing is bringing in the money, though. I mean, she ain't doing much. All she doing is bringing in the money, though.
That's it. Washing the clothes, taking the kids to school, all that. Like,
sir, in a couple of years, the kids, hell, the 10-year-old can work the washing machine now. You want a medal? The 10-year-old can work the washing machine. I should know. I was 10 years old working the washing machine. Who you impressing, man? Brother, you are not You are not taking on any masculine responsibilities. You're not. And so nobody can
me a job won't make me a man.
Sir, I'm going to say being a man will make you a man. And a man demands to produce because he understands that's the only thing that separates him from a woman. Is his ability to outwork her. That's what separates us from the women. The women are soft and fragile. It is the men who are the workhorses. And there's you took the easy road. He can come out of jail to be Mr. Mom.
I ain't working taking care of the kids at home. I ain't working like, you feel me, taking them to school. I ain't working like putting the you know what I'm saying?
You're asking questions.
I ain't working.
Sir, you're asking questions in circles. The bottom line is it would be different if your family was an upper middle class family and that's what you were doing. Man, y'all at poverty level. And they're watching their dad sit up here and argue with me about what he should be doing. 7 people in the house and only $70,000 in income. And he wants to argue about this like there's some debate going on. I guess I said critics, haters, debaters. But he's arguing with this. Man, your kids can't eat no excuses. Thank you, T.I. And I'm just saying, there's no way in the world you're not setting up any assets. There is no disposable income. There is no savings. There's nothing left over at the end of the month. That woman's just going from paycheck to paycheck. And not very easily either. And there you are.
Yeah, that's true.
And at the very least, you could at least double what y'all are making. And he's sitting here like, well, I like staying home taking care of kids. Then get ready for a lifetime of struggle. And those children will be starting from zero. When they get grown, it'll be as if you never lived.
But for real, I think if I get a job, I think she already gonna be scared that I might leave. Like, you feel me? Like, I think she want me at home. Like, I think she really, you know what I'm saying? Like,
sir, there is no woman who wants her man at home. I know it's a very comforting little thing you tell yourself. There's no woman who wants her man at home. So I know this manhood thing might be novel and new to you, but at the end of the day, brother, this is not the thing. Your man, I mean, just you need to go play this phone call back, man. There's nothing masculine about what's on this phone right now. This is a completely emasculated situation. Brother, tell the truth. Let me ask you a question. How many years were you in there?
this is last time, this 2 years.
Okay, and the time before that?
Shit, all together, shit, maybe like about 4.
Okay.
All together, plus the 2 years, maybe like 6.
Okay, he's a repeat offender. Tell the truth, nigga, tell the truth. Don't lie. I'm going to be able to tell if you're lying. Don't lie. Did you have a boyfriend in prison?
No, hell no.
Sir?
I don't swing that way.
Sir? Are you, sir? Tell the truth. Did you have a boyfriend in prison?
I ain't got to lie to you.
Okay, somebody didn't
Hell
give,
no.
not even a little smooch?
Ain't no need to.
I didn't say need
I ain't
to.
attracted to that.
I didn't say you were attracted to it. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Because if a fella come out of prison and is this easy for him to put on the apron and run around the house burping babies, I'm like, okay, what happened? I got questions. Trying to give you a chance here. Sir, I'm trying to give you a chance here because I'm like, okay, if something happened, that would explain why this is going on. Because otherwise, bro, you shouldn't be this comfortable in a submissive position. You just shouldn't be this comfortable.
Well, I just feel like, Jason, if you could just hear me out, I just feel like if I was to go out and get a job, I'm not taking care. I'm not going to be at home to take care of my kids.
Nigga,
like,
just tell the damn truth. You don't want to get a job, number one, because she's not insisting on it. Number two, you don't really fool with her like that. Now there's the damn truth. Just tell the truth, nigga. You don't really fool with her like that.
See, now Jason, you gonna get me and her arguing now. You know what I'm saying? We ain't even gotta go there.
But it's the truth. You don't fool with her like that.
We let not too much.
You sat up here and got her pregnant because that was a come up for you. Your situation is so bad that getting her pregnant was a come up for you. And that gave you stabilities because that put her over the 8 ball. And you waiting to figure out the day ever comes you can get on your feet. And the first thing you're going to do is trade her in for somebody half her age and half her size.
I mean, I might have some on the side, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I didn't see it because, you know what I'm saying? Like I ain't gonna say cheat. I just been fucked around. Like,
okay, here's the problem. Like, I feel like TK Kirkland, nigga. You can't. You don't have the right to fool around, nigga. You acting like you got your life together. You don't get to have side chicks and you miss. Sir, there's nothing. You keep using that phrase. That's an insult to those of us who actually are men. You saying that and claiming you're one of us, that's a damn insult. A man doesn't sit up here and knock slutty little broads up willy-nilly. A man cares about his legacy. A man ain't sitting on his ass and ain't building. Man, you ain't taking care of a damn thing. You're running your mouth. That prison babble don't work among grown men. This is prison babble.
Come on, dog. I listen to your show every time you post something on YouTube. Come on, dog. I'm. You got to give it to me, though. I'm trying. I'm taking care of mine. You feel me? Three, that's hers. Ain't enough motherfucker don't do that.
Brother, nobody else would because everybody ain't in and out of jail like that. Look, the bottom line is masculinity is not working out for you naturally. You need to get your act together. It is not working out for you naturally.
It just seemed like the only way you saying I'm not a man is just because the job situation and because I'm messing with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, she done been around the block a few times. I understand that. But I didn't put two in her. You know what I'm saying? And I'm taking care of her.
Okay, but the problem is you supposed to be taking care of her before you get anybody pregnant, sir. A family starts with a man and a woman, not a woman and a bunch of damn kids. You've shown from the very beginning. You don't fool with her like that. You just trying to get by how you get by, and in the process, you're making more victims. See, the issue here is that when you are a child that nobody gives a damn about, it's very easy to grow up and become an adult who don't give a damn about anybody else because, well, you got messed over. Well, you just going to find somebody else to go make a victim out of. And that's the problem.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, but that's not manhood.
The world ain't perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay, this isn't about being perfect, sir. This is baseline. This isn't about being perfect. You're not even trying. And in the process, neither her, nor your kinfolk, nor your children can respect you. They're going to look back in this time in their lives and be asking, what did dad do? And they're going to have a big-ass void of nothing. And you're going to be sitting here trying to convince them that you were sitting home baking cookies, which I know damn well you aren't. The real problem is you're scared to face the world, and you don't really fool with her like that. So you don't have a true motivation. And even if you did, you don't have the skill set. And that's manhood. Okay, that's manhood. Sitting around your kids just being the sixth big overgrown kid, that doesn't make you a man, sir. Just being present in the home doesn't make you a man. Leading in the home is what makes you a man.
I didn't even put that out. I bring food stamps to I don't even put that out there. Yeah, I bring food stamps to the crib. That's supporting. I ain't even bring that out there yet. I ain't even tell you that. You know what I'm saying?
Nigga.
Plus everything else I ain't doing. You know, I'm doing things right. I'm bringing in something. I can just see if I'm completely, you know what I'm saying, like my older brother, he don't take care of none of his children. At least I'm trying. At least I'm, you know what I'm saying. I ain't gonna have a job make me as a man.
If you all want to know why East St. Louis, and for those of you who don't know, East St. Louis, Illinois, one of the poorest places in America, one of the most rundown places in America. If you want to know why East St. Louis is in the situation that it's in, generation after generation, if you want to know why it is, that is Pookieville. And if you want to know why it is, this phone call right here really tells you. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing said decades ago that the aim of the white supremacists was to reverse the genders, that you would have the black males first sagging their pants, and then their pants would go all the way down to their feet, and then next they would pull up the dress. That woman was not just intelligent, she was a prophetess. Because that is exactly what we've seen. I'm not just talking about Kid Cudi. In their minds, in their spirits, single mothers buck break their own sons. And he thinks he's being Mr. Mom. And in reality, the more he talks, the worse it gets. So, like I say, definitely, brother, yeah, get a job. Get some scruples. Get some self-respect. Let's start there. Thank you very much. Well, boy, I'm supposed to say thank you for giving us a call. But anyway, if you call on Zoom, by the way, you need to turn your cameras on. Otherwise, I am not going to take you on Zoom, so you need to have your cameras on. Let me get caller from area code 678. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Ray Ray from Hampton, Georgia.
Oh, God, I just got off the phone with Pookie. Now comes Ray Ray. Well, I asked for it. All right, Ray Ray, what's on your mind? What is your critique, hate, or debate?
Okay. First of all, I want to say you're great. Everything you're doing out here is great. What I don't like what you're doing is getting off into a land of celebrities and bullshit. Now, that guy that just got off the phone needs you to talk on the business about some business. That man can start a YouTube channel or something in his house. He can do something. He a fucking felon. He gonna have a hard time trying to get out here and do anything, especially being black. Now, we need someone like you to be able to let this man know he's worthy. And the way to make some fucking money is to do something like, hey, a YouTube channel like you've been doing for the past 10 years and successfully. And knowing that this shit, what you do is amazing. It's fucking amazing. What you getting off into is bullshit. I don't care about no dating. We don't care about that. We're at war right now. We need a situation and a person to take place and to take hold of what we're trying to do. We need someone to lead us in the situation instead of saying, this is who we listen to. I listen to Kevin Samuels. I do this, I do that. Let this brother know what he can do out here. Now, my Ray Ray is this Ray Ray. I go to work, I work very hard, I'm great at what I do. And when somebody messes over me, I will fucking go off. I'm not going to hold back. I know I'm in a... What do you keep playing this music for? So you don't want to listen to what I'm trying to say?
Sir,
I listen to you all the time.
Sir, I'm listening.
Sir,
with
what?
I'm listening with bated breath. Go ahead, Pookie. I mean Ray Ray. I mean
Bated
Mike
breath.
Mike. I mean
Okay,
Lil Slug.
Ray,
I mean
yes,
Scobie.
yes,
I mean
okay.
Debo, Skibo, whichever one.
Skibo, Ray Ray. Ray Ray is the one that fucks your woman, big baller. You in a bad situation because whatever you had with that dealership you had or whatever, and that woman that you had, Ray Ray took her. But Ray Rays are all over the world. If y'all are 1% and the 10%,
Sir,
then what do you think the rest of the 90 are? What do you think the rest of the 90 are gonna do?
Mr. Ray Ray, the only way you could take any woman from me is
I
if
didn't
you,
say I took it.
Okay,
I don't know
sir.
You. I don't know you.
The
What
only
I
way
do
that the
is-
Ray Ray on my phone could take any woman from me is if he handcuffed and kidnapped her. That'd be the only way he could do it. That would be it.
Tell you. That's
Sir,
what she would tell you when she
we've
returns
allowed you,
home
sir, we've
with no
allowed you
drawers
to
on.
ramble for a while. My short answer to your question was no. Thank you very much for giving us a call. The short answer is no. The only way that clown could take a woman from me is if he hog-tied her and threw her in the back of his 86 Buick. With the bad carburetor and the drop cylinder missing. That's the only way that would happen. Caller from area code 801. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Jason. I'm calling from Clearfield, Utah. My name is Anna.
Okay, ma'am. It sounds like you're rubbing yourself up and down and you're trying to catch your breath. Should I give you a few moments here to calm down? I know sometimes the ladies do that, but do I need to give you a moment to calm down?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, well, why not put you back on hold here for a moment? Some of the ladies do that sometimes. They start rubbing on themselves and get worked up. And, oh, the baritone. Okay, I get it. I got it. But you're up next and you're fumbling the ball. So just saying. By the way, if you all like what you're hearing tonight, can you give me a thumbs up in the chat room and then hit the like button for me? We're really behind on the likes and everything here. So if you want folks to know that you're liking what you're seeing here, hey, can you go ahead and give me a thumbs up in the chat room? And I'm doing my part as the host. I can't help it. It's Friday the 13th and they're working me over. But if you like what you're hearing, go ahead and give me a thumbs up emoji in the chat room and hit the like button. And to the ladies out there, if there are any women who are upset with me, call me on Zoom. The link is pinned at the top of the chat room. Go ahead and give me a call. Let's go ahead and discuss it. Let me get caller from area code. Oh, I'm sorry. 801, go back to sleep again. Let me let you go back to sleep here again. We'll get back to you in a little bit. She was all ready to speak right then. No, let me let you get back to sleep there in a moment. Gonna try this again here. Chris, I'd already let you in once, sir. If you're not here this time, I will have to see about removing you, sir. So let's not play that game. On Zoom here for everybody here. Let's be clear. You need to make sure your stuff is on. No, you can't cover your camera, sir. If you don't uncover your camera, because this guy here looks like a straight stalker. No, we're not going to let you on otherwise. All right. Well, he's trying to figure out how he can. I'm the only one who can do that, sir. You can't do that. I'm the only one with those privileges. You're not allowed those privileges, so can't have you do that. Some of the folks wondering, damn, Jason loads up the remove button. Yes, I do, as a matter of fact. Doesn't take me very long to get used to that, but yes, actually I do. All right, I give priority to Zoom here, so Lady Charles, let me go ahead and see if I can get you loaded up here. There you go. All right. Go ahead and speak.
Hello, Jason. How are you?
Oh, I've got you on here. All right. What is your critique, hate, or debate?
I have a question. It's neither one. Can I ask it?
Can I ask it? Yes, you may ask.
I want to know, Jason, how did you come up from a bad marriage?
Oh, boy. And what is it that makes your marriage bad?
Well, he cheated. I got a divorce. And I have been trying to put the pieces of my life back together. And it has been a struggle.
Okay. How long were you all married?
9 years.
Okay. And why did you get divorced? Just because he cheated?
Because he cheated. He was living a double life. Plus, he was a pastor. And I just couldn't support the wrong.
Why on earth did you marry a pastor, ma'am? What made you think that was going to turn out well?
Really, Jason?
Yes, really. What the hell made you think that was a good idea? You can't even say you got fooled on this one. You can't even say you got took. So, by the way, what made you think this is going to be great?
Actually, when we got married, Jason, he wasn't a pastor. Hell. And when in doing the marriage, he said God called him to pastor.
Okay. How'd that work out?
Well, evidently not well at all.
Okay. So I'm not making this up as I go along. So let me find out here. How many children do you have?
2, 1 girl and a boy.
With him or before you met him?
With him.
Okay. Well, certainly, like I say, let me find out here. What's the age difference between the two of you?
I'm 40.
Okay, for some reason, she has frozen up. I hope the man didn't get a hold of her.
Say that again?
Okay, you okay? You froze up there for a moment there. Go ahead and try again. What's the age difference between the two of you?
I'm 47 and he's 48.
Okay, let me ask you a question right now. Okay.
Okay.
Other than cheating on you, what else was he doing?
He just handled things. I felt like.
I feel like. Okay. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Well, let me reword that.
No. That was the correct way to say it the first time. Well, I feel like, and I'm trying to. This is a teaching moment for you.
Okay. Well, it's not in the field. It's what I witnessed. He did things that I witnessed that was not proper.
Such as.
Well, if you go meet your ex and you don't tell your wife, do you think that's proper?
Okay, first of all, remind us one more time how long you two been married.
We were married 9 years.
Okay, so in other words, ma'am, let's just keep it real. When you met that man, was he with a woman already?
When I met him, was he what?
When you met him, was he with the first time you met that man, was he with a woman? The first time you two met in life?
No, he was single.
He didn't have a woman at the time. I'm talking about the first time you encountered him.
He was single the first time.
Okay. Were there any other women who wanted his attention during the time that you two were dating before you got married?
No, I didn't know about women until really we got married.
Okay, no. What I'm saying is you're telling me that the entire time you were with him, there were no other women who wanted to deal with him at all. None.
Not that I knew of, no.
Okay, ma'am, that doesn't even make sense. How in the world can he find the ability and capacity to cheat on you unless you're talking about he was cheating on you with men?
I mean, he told me he cheated.
Okay, was he cheating on you with men or with women?
Now, how am I supposed to know that, Jason? I wasn't with him.
Okay, you say he was cheating. You say he went to go see his ex. Is his ex a man or a woman, ma'am?
Okay, let me say this.
Ma'am, well, slow down.
I'm answering your question.
Was he dealing with men or with women?
As far as I know, he was dealing with both.
Okay. Ma'am,
now,
if that's what you married, that wasn't a surprise. This man didn't just surprise you one day and he was laying up with dudes. Now, that's not something the fella sneaks up on you with.
This surprised me, Jason, and I want to say this, Jason, and I need to say it for you to have clarity. When I met him, I didn't know about anybody else that he was dealing with or dating. He told me one day at a meeting that we had at church, he wanted to have peace and clear his heart. And I said, what is it? And that's when he first told me. I went to see my ex to check my heart to make sure that I was done. That's what he stated to me. During that time, I was pregnant, carrying his baby, and I was very emotional. I was too embarrassed to talk to anybody because I'm in the church as well. I didn't know what to do but pray. I wanted to divorce and get out then, but I guess I forgave him and tried to see where it was going to go.
Well, we saw where it was going to go. When you met him, what were you doing for a living?
I had my own business when I met him.
Doing what?
I had a cleaning service business.
Okay. So, to be clear, and no offense, but to be clear, did you kind of feel like you were stepping up when you got with him?
Oh, no. Because I had my own house. I had a car. No, I had a cleaning business and I was doing pretty well.
So you're saying that you were doing better than him when you met him?
I'm not going to say better. I think we were both doing equal because he had a job as well.
Okay. So in other words, you chose a man who was your socioeconomic inferior. Of all the options you had, you chose to go down. I want everybody to know this is productive question asking. Some people be like, oh, Jason, that was a trick question, the way in which you put those two together. I just want you all to understand, people don't really understand. You got to ask it in the right sequence. Otherwise, they won't tell you what you really want to know. This didn't sneak up on her. She chose a man who was her socioeconomic subordinate. And the results are inevitable.
Now, how about I said yes because he said God said I was his wife. How about
Okay,
that?
but you chose him. You chose this man, and
Okay, I'll agree.
there were warning signs. No man just jumps up and got an eye for other women. No man just jumps up and does that. That's there already. He doesn't just jump up in his 40s and decide he's going to start skirt chasing. It doesn't work that way. Certainly not if he's not in demand by the ladies. He's not going to be willing to do something like that. If you're the only female he fooling with, he's going to be too square to risk anything else. So no, ma'am. It doesn't work that way at all. Just if you will be honest with yourself, because once again, no offense. How much did you weigh when you met him? Be honest. Come on now.
I was 14 when I met him.
So my question here is, and that was a decade ago, 37 years old. Very nice that you had things going for yourself. And by the way, they're on Zoom. Mr. Gonzalez, stop jumping in and out. I'm gonna block you if you keep doing that. Folks on Zoom, just stick around and wait a moment there. When I get done with her, I'll get to you next. My point, ma'am, is size 14, 37 years old, met a pastor who basically at best is your socioeconomic peer and at worst is your socioeconomic subordinate. You chose him for reasons of emotional safety. Is this, that, and the other? Okay, but there are warning signs. This is not stable. There are warning signs that this is going to be complicated, and sure enough, it is. But there is no way in the hell this just jumped out at you. What women do is they tend to choose, by the way, because what you're really not telling me is the distance of time between your previous relationship and this one. Were you married previously?
Yes. I was married previously for 13 years.
There you go. Like I said, so folks, I'm not guessing my way through this. She went trying, what usually happens when females go from one relationship to another is they try to correct what happened previously. As opposed to getting what they need, they take a look at what they think or what they feel went wrong in the previous relationship, and then they try to overcorrect on those traits. So what this tells me is probably your husband probably was pretty good about money, but you felt he wasn't personally or emotionally accommodating enough. You went to go get somebody who was a lot softer in that regard, and he presented himself as your representative. When females make selfish decisions, it makes it very...
I can't agree with that one, Jason.
I'm taking a look at your life, ma'am. I'm taking a look where you ended up at. Unless you're misrepresenting what occurred, I'm taking a look at where you ended up at.
I may have ended husband before him. He was abusive. And I divorced and got out of that because I got tired of him jumping on me.
Okay.
So I stayed single for a while. And actually, when this next one showed up, because I was praying to God to send me a good husband, when he approached me and he was in the church, I thought this was it.
Ma'am, I'm not going to go into the abuse part of it there because, long story short, I don't have him to speak up for himself. What I will say is you were married to him for 13 years.
Yeah.
So,
13.
Okay, 13 years sounds like there was something in it for you.
Okay, Jason, if you say so.
No, you said so. I didn't say that. You did. And understand something, you cannot fix your problems if you cannot face your problems. Because I'm just going to be totally honest with you, if you're going to try to convince me that you're a wilting violet and that you wouldn't hurt a dandelion, you strike me as the kind of woman who gives as good as she gets. So I would find it difficult to believe that you're anybody's pushover. I would find that incredibly difficult to believe. You don't come across at all as a pushover type of female. You don't come across like that at all. You don't strike me as the least bit of subservient, much less docile. No way. That's not even in your makeup.
So you're saying, Jason, I wasn't submissive? Oh, wow.
I didn't say that.
Because they told me I was.
First of all, I didn't say that. I said you don't strike me as subservient or docile. I know you think submissive and subservient are the same thing. They're actually not. but you certainly don't strike me as docile. Not at all. If a man is looking for a soft, docile female, he needs to keep going. He ain't found it yet.
Ooh, that's not nice, Jason.
Whoa. There's guys who like that, by the way. There's certain fellas who need that. Like the nigga who just got off the phone and whatnot, and he done got the girl pregnant in East St. Louis. He could use a chick like you. He really, really could. However, with the man that you chose, you had your reasons for doing it. Here's the issue now. You say you all are divorced now, or you're wanting to divorce him?
No, I divorced him.
Okay. Question. 47 years old. Size 14, 2 kids. Now she's back on the dating market. Tell me, where are you going to go? I'd like to know.
As far as dating?
Well, you asked me a question at the beginning of this call. So I'm asking you. By the way, yeah, that's a real good question. Where are you going? Just out of curiosity.
What I've been focusing on is really just working and pressing myself more into the church, into God. I mean, my biological clock ticking. At this point, I'm really not sure if I would even end up married again.
Okay. Well, all things remaining equal, I can't speak on that, but what I will say is are you planning on, you called me for a reason and you want to know what do you do after the fact. So I'm just curious for you. I don't know. What do you do now? Under these circumstances, what do you do?
I'm having a hard time trusting.
Okay.
I guess because what I've been through, it's not that I don't get guys. I mean, they come on to me all the time. My friends say I say I want to be with somebody, but I keep finding things wrong in them. How do I get past that? I don't want to make the new man pay for what the last man did. I really want to get the victory in that.
Okay. I'm just going to be totally honest with you at this point right now. You need to be clear about what your priorities are and your options. I don't know how many you think you have at your age. I'm just going to be dead ass honest with you here. I don't know what options you think you have. What options do you tell how much longer do you think you have to walk around the casino? Just out of curiosity.
I think I got some options. And I think I may have another 10 years and that's it.
Okay. Because here's the real thing. The real thing about it here is in the situation you're in and whatnot, if you really want to, you're walking around the casino. And what you're going to do is you're going to keep milling around in circles and never make a purchase at all, never walk anywhere. And then next thing you know, you're 50. Baby, it's not like, I don't know what kind of man you're holding out for. I don't know what you think you're holding out for. I'm telling you right now, you already been married twice. Most black women won't get it that far.
Well, tell me this, Jason.
Ma'am, slow down. You had two. Okay, slow down. You had 2 husbands and you threw both of them away. Now, you chose both of these men. These men asked you to marry them and they said, "Hey, get these other hoes out the way. I'm here. I'm taking over." You got what you wanted and then you were the one who said, "Yeah, I don't want it anymore." Now, if it only happens to you once, that's one thing. When it starts happening to you twice, I'm starting to see a pattern forming. So you can't point the finger at everybody else. At some point, there's only one common denominator.
What is
in all these facts? You are the only common factor in this equation.
So I'm wrong because they cheated.
No, ma'am. I'm saying you're alone because you chose to leave them. And now you're asking, well, what do I do with these new men? Why should I trust that your decisions going forward will be any better than your decisions previously? The past is the best indicator of the future. And you're the only one making these decisions, and you're making them from what you feel, not from what you need. Because I haven't heard you say anything about competence, intelligence, resourcefulness. You're choosing based on emotion, which is what I said from the beginning, how they make you feel. You haven't said a word about any of those things. If you had, you wouldn't have been with a man who was not as accomplished as you were. By your own token, you didn't really admire anything about him. Well, he a pastor, so you took that to be, well, don't worry, Jesus will make sure he's on his best behavior. Well, you saw how that turned out. So you're making very shallow decisions, and you're not making pragmatic ones. You can look it up.
Stay by myself.
Well, here's the thing right here. At this point right now, that's a decision for you to make. What I am going to say here is you can keep playing the game of no man is good enough for you. And at 47, like I say, I mean, we're not missing much. But if you're going to keep playing that game, ain't no man good enough for me. Okay.
Well, I'm not playing that game because I don't feel that I'm that high on a level. Now,
You
I do
sure
feel
act
I got
like it.
No, I got something to bring to the table.
Okay, now I said that's what you're acting like, and your response to me is no. Now think about that for a few moments. I have no dog in the fight. I don't know you nor your ex-husbands. I have no reason to fabricate anything. But if I tell you exactly what I, as an objective observer, because I'm not interested in dating you in any capacity, I have no reason to shade it. I tell you that's what it is, and your response is no. And then you wonder why the situation doesn't get any better.
I mean, because how you gonna tell me, Jason, that I think they no good for me? Some, yes, but
because
not all.
No, you said it. Once again, you keep saying, Jason, how you gonna say this? I'm not saying anything. You're the one saying this. You're saying to the guys you're talking to now, I'm not sure what to do. How do I know if I can? Okay, keep playing that game. It can't be that every damn man out here is screwed up and isn't worth going in on, and you're just this damsel in distress. It can't be that, man. That's mathematically impossible. That's just not possible.
So you saying it's me, Jason? I'm the problem.
What I am saying is you are in the way of your own contentment. Damn right. That's exactly what I'm telling you.
So then how I get out the way? Because I guess I'm not seeing that I'm in the way. How do I get out the way then? How am I the problem? You show me where the problem is at and I will solve it. How am I the problem?
Is there a gentleman you're speaking to now?
Yes, I talked to somebody now.
I talked to somebody now. Have you slept with him?
No.
Okay.
No.
Has he tried to?
He's asked.
Okay. And you responded with?
No.
Why?
Well, what I didn't tell you this, Jason, is that I went a little bit deeper with my spirituality.
There you go. There you go.
You're going to judge me before I get there, Jason.
These are contrivances. You're not a virgin, but here you are at 47 thinking that you're going to make sex with you some specialized thing that a man's got to jump over hurdles for. At 47, somebody would think that you were 22 and bad to the bone. 47, two husbands, 2 kids, and she's sitting up here playing games and saying, here, I want you to hop through some hoops to do something with me. Really? This is just indicative of what the issue is.
Jason, if you will hear me out, the reason why I have to keep my integrity, because it's important to me. Jason, I am a pastor now, a woman pastor.
Okay, what's your point?
And I can't be out here ministering to people, telling them not to do it, and I'm doing it. I have an integrity to keep.
Okay.
So it's not that I'm playing any games and whatnot, but I'm going to keep my integrity.
Well, you know what? I think that
me.
is a wonderful characteristic. However, if you'll remember a few weeks ago, I showed you all a graphic that I think you should be familiar with. If you make the cost of being with you too high, then you're going to make it where men are just not with you. You can't make the cost and what it takes to be with you outrageously high and then think you're going to have anybody. It won't work that way. You can't make it where it's just this survival test to be with you. The man is here to upgrade you, and if you make it too difficult, guess what? You don't get anybody.
I don't think that's the problem. I really think my problem is that.
No, I'm glad to hear that. All right. What do you think your problem is?
I think I don't have the balance with, I think I'm really too churchy. I'm all about church, and I understand I'm 47. I understand I'm not a virgin no more, but because I guess I was raised in church, been in church, just church. That's all I know.
Okay, all I'm going to say is these are comfort mechanisms for yourself, and you're going to choose the extent to which it benefits your life or doesn't. But if all I'm going to say is take a look, are you getting the results you want from this? If this is really the right thing to do, then you should be getting the results you're looking for. If you are getting exactly the opposite of the results you're looking for, physics is trying to tell you something. Now, you can't say I'm doing the right thing when I'm not getting the results that I want at all. Ma'am, if you make it too difficult, because what you're doing is you're already taking a small pool of men and then narrowing it down to this sliver of men who are willing to wait for a 47-year-old single mom with 2 kids who is telling them, by the way, we're not going to do anything until we go down the aisle, which is possible. But now you are looking for a fraction of the men out there. You're looking for a fraction of a percentage. Now, if you're okay with him being with somebody else until y'all do that, well, go ahead. I'm just saying the odds against you are overwhelming. Unless you find someone who is equally off in the church and committed like that. And as a black man who is in the same age group as you, we left the church a long damn time ago.
Now, see, that's another problem I'm having because I'm getting a lot of younger men that are approaching me.
Of course. They're approaching you for what? To marry you, to build for you, to buy a house for you?
No,
thank you. Okay, thank you. All they want to do is the same thing with everybody else. They're just checking in. You're no different from the others. They're just checking in to see if you're lonely, and she is. But the bottom line is, ma'am, just stop that one. The men in your age group are supposed to be taking you off the market. If the men in your age group are swerving around you like Mario Andretti, we're trying to tell you something. You're looking for a specific candidate, and that's fine. If you qualify for him.
Well, I think I qualify.
Then go get him.
Well, I mean, whatever happened to let the man find us women? We're not supposed to be
because you're the one saying you're the one going all these check boxes that go for a specific niche person. You're not looking for a broad-based person. You're looking for a niche product, a specialty niche product. So all I can tell you is good luck on that one. You're going to need it.
So because I have standards and because I prefer certain types, I'm not going to get it because
ma'am, you call it standards. You have your preferences. And there's nobody out there on an assembly line making your preference available in wide numbers. That's what the world doesn't do. It's a random thing. It's a crapshoot. And in this casino, you're gambling that you're going to run into this specific niche person. It behooves you to have as few barriers to entry as you can. And you've got multiple barriers. And here's the crazy thing about it. Now you're 47. How long you been a pastor?
This just recently happened.
Okay, at 47 years old, she decides to erect another barrier. By the way, when you say you're a pastor, are you in charge of a church? Have you been installed?
Yes.
Okay, she waits till 47 to erect another barrier.
Why do you call it a barrier, Jason?
Ma'am, because
I love it.
What you love? What?
I mean, I love church. I love God's people.
Okay, is that giving you the results you would like?
As far as a man, no.
Okay, then you love not liking it then, apparently. Ma'am, you are erecting. I'm gonna have to move on here in a moment, but you're erecting barriers to yourself. This game is already difficult enough, and you have at the last minute, after all these decades, after 2 husbands and 2 children, you didn't make it easier on yourself. You made it exponentially harder on yourself.
Okay, so I called you, Jason, and asked you, how do I get out of this? How do I get a different
fewer barriers. You're making it too hard for men to take an interest in you. You're 47. If you're the one who has to decide how much time she wants to spend on this. You have erected too many barriers.
So
This would be different. A 20-year-old with no kids can talk like you're talking. A 47-year-old, twice divorcee, can't really speak like this unless she's willing to wait till she's about 55.
Okay, I ain't trying to wait till I'm 55.
Okay,
Jason.
well, you're sure talking
I ain't even
like
trying
it.
to wait till I'm 50. I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Then what you need to do is the man you talking to, you need to tell him, look, I can't lay up with nobody till I'm married, so let's hurry up and do this damn thing so you can do this damn thing.
No.
Okay, what you've told me then is that there's no pathway to it unless by some coincidence and chance you bump into the right person. By chance.
Okay.
So that's what you're left with.
Let me ask you this, Jason.
Okay, I'm gonna need to go here, but ma'am, all you're doing now is let me just get the right person, and that's it.
No,
Hopefully you'll bump into him by chance. You have erected too many obstacles and too many barriers. Nobody is gonna jump through 5 and 6 hoops to be with a 47-year-old. Well, I have my convictions. Those are your convictions, and that's comfortable for you. And if by chance you bump into the 0.1001% of black men or men, period, who are willing to accommodate your standards, because understand what you say, I'm not going to accommodate his, and I need him to accommodate mine. Okay, well, on the chance that you get that less than 1%, and you bump into him by accident, and he's willing to accommodate your preferences, well then, hey, you win. All I'm saying is mathematically, the odds are overwhelmingly against this. Not a little bit. It's overwhelmingly against it.
You just made me feel like it's impossible, and I know it's not.
No, it's not impossible. It's 0.1%, but it's certainly not impossible. No.
It's not no 0.01% either, Jason.
Okay.
So I need to let down my standards.
No. Since you said it's not impossible, call me back in 6 months. And let's discuss it then. Call me back in 6 months, and we can see if we can check into that and see how that turns out. I'd be interested in knowing.
I'm going to call you back in 3.
Well, you can call me back more than that if you'd like to, but thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Like I say, definitely, you have your choices. You have your choices. It's not a game out there. You have your choices. You cannot wait until you're at the end of the damn casino. Wait till you're at the end of the thing to decide, okay, let me go ahead and do something different. It's not going to work that way. You might want it to, but it is not going to work that way. So just understand. Might feel like you can do that, but you can't do that. By the way, on Zoom, if I tell you to start your video and you don't, you will be removed. So let's be very, very clear. If you don't start your video, you got to go. Let me get a caller from area code 804. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from? Caller from 804. Last try. You're on live. Caller from 804 has been abducted. Caller from area code 816. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, my name is Charmaine. I'm calling from Kansas City.
All right, Charmaine from Kansas City, and what's on your mind?
I don't have a critique or a debate. I just have a question for you. At one time, you had a question, a video on the Black Channel. It was about a Black Wall Street town in North Carolina. That video was so good. I've been looking for it to share it with people, and I can't find it. Did you remove it?
I am not certain. I'm not certain. You might be. I'm not sure if you're talking about Wilmington or where, but
Yes.
I'm not sure.
It was Wilmington, North Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. If you really want to, I think I want to say you can go look it up on YouTube. As a matter of fact, not my original video there, because I'm not sure which program that I've done. Literally hundreds and hundreds of them, so I can't be certain which one you're referring to there. But certainly you can look it up about what happened to Wilmington. I want to say Vox did a very good expose on that, particularly about how they really conceal the records in Wilmington, so it becomes very, very hard. But basically how they overthrew a black government. So that's something that you may want to take a look for there. So I want to say Vox did a story about that on YouTube. Very, very well done. I thought it was very, very well done. So definitely you probably want to check that out.
Okay.
And one of these days we might see about following up on that. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight here. All right. On Zoom, I got Felix. What is your critique, hate, or debate, Felix? Make sure you have everything turned on.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. What is your critique, hate, or debate?
You said that all sexual relationships become transactional at some period of time, or they are all transactional in nature. And I just disagree with you on that. I certainly don't follow the Rollo Tomasi school of thought that there is sort of validational interaction and then there's transactional interaction and there's sort of this hardline separation. But I don't think all of it is transactional in nature.
Okay, here's the issue. What is the definition of a transaction?
Based off the top of my head, I'm assuming that I get something, you get something in return.
Okay. Basically, that would be an exchange.
Okay.
The bottom line is an exchange. So what the issue is, what's happened with introducing Rollo Tomasi into this thing here is they everything for them is hypothetical. Everything's about theory with them. So they get this academic intellectual masturbation out of everything. So in the process of doing that, because they like hearing themselves talk, they just complicate something very simple to hell. Is what they end up doing. Because what they're trying to convince you is that they got some original spin on it. After 60,000 years, 160,000 years, 3 million years of evolution, they've got a new spin on male-female relations. No, it's not. Marriage is a business. Relationships are an exchange. Nobody enters a relationship to get nothing. Everyone, by definition, a relationship, connection to, everybody enters a relationship to get something. So by definition, he's in his attempt to try to make it seem like, oh, come buy my book because there's a secret level to this. There's a nuance to this you understand. No, the bottom line is everybody enters a relationship, business relationship, school relationship, customer relationship. Everyone goes into a relationship to get something. Nobody goes in to get nothing. Now, if you want to play semantics about what the quote something is, that's different. No, actually, it's not different. You can play with yourself, but it doesn't change it. The bottom line is, if you're in a relationship, you came to get something. And if you don't get it, eventually at some point, you're going to either get very upset with the relationship or leave it. That's the bottom line. I don't care if it's Walmart, your job, your school, your woman.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. I guess the disagreement here comes when there's this baseline implication that if you have sex with me, then you're entitled or you gain access to something that I have, and that is where I kind of I draw, because my own life experience has not lived that perception.
Okay, if who has sex with whom?
So the assumption is that based on this transactional nature, that if a girl sleeps with me, it is based on the premise that I can provide a life for her.
No.
Or at least that's the assumption.
Well, no, not necessarily. If a woman sleeps with you, she perceives she is getting some type of benefit from it. It's not, otherwise it's a commodity. So if a woman's sleeping with you, she thinks she's doing it to get something. Now, what Rollo will try to do is he will try to make this distinction between, quote, validation and everything else. And the truth of the matter is, no, it's not. This is a characteristic. This is an asset that you possess. Jeremy Meeks, in the minds of some females, was very cute. They wanted to have a piece of that for themselves. Now, we can debate about whether or not there was an intrinsic value to it. We can debate about that. What we cannot debate about is the fact there were females who put a value on it. Well, he cute. Okay, she is saying that I put a value on his attractiveness. So we can sit up here and overcomplicate, but the bottom line is women are looking for men who are productive. They're looking for men who are resourceful. They're looking for men who are cute. They're looking for men who are intelligent. They're looking for men who are aggressive. Now, that's not to necessarily say you have all those characteristics. I'm saying they put a value on each of those dimensions. We overcomplicate it when we try to spiritualize it and say, no, she should want to be with me, quote unquote, for me. And without saying, well, what does it mean to be, quote, with you? What does that mean? Now we're trying to subscribe intrinsic value. I have value just because I'm standing here. Well, guess what? Lizzo thinks she got value just standing there. Take a look at the flaw in the argument there, because if the women tried to turn around and sell that to you, you'd be offended.
Yeah, okay, I understand what you're saying there. Let me ask you this right here, and I won't take too much of your time. Do you think that polygamy is going to have a place in the future in the North American culture?
It's already here, and the women did it.
Elaborate.
Because by definition, the women have been so hard-headed and silly that they've created a situation where they have made a construct where they have to share the men. Value is value. The bottom line is 80% of the women are trying to get with 20% of the men. They've just, in their minds, the other 80% of the men are effectively invisible to them. So for that reason, you've created a polygamous structure, a structure where a few men have access to a wide variety of women. The females have constructed that already. So it's not something I approve of, because I'm a big fan and a big proponent of legacy and bloodlines, and polygamy is awful. When it comes to bloodlines, polygamy is the worst way it's literally the antithesis of conducting a proper disciplined bloodline. However, the females in their erratic and impulsive behavior have created that. That's why they're having bastard kids by different types of men and whatnot, but those men tend to be of lower value. Then they come back later, and when we talk about relationships, she's ready to give the farm to share a guy in an official capacity. So they start out sharing him on shallow characteristics. Ooh, he cute. But when it's time for resources and to lock down the future, then now they're locked in this situation of sharing a guy who's got real resources and real value. So when in reality, if they had started from the beginning, what your grandmothers and great grandmothers did, grab a guy early when you are young, he's got his value together then, or prospectively. You didn't choose him because he's cute. You didn't choose him because he could dance. You chose him because he showed the characteristics that in the future, his value is going to be much higher than it is now. That the time to lock him down is when you're young. Today, it's the opposite. The females play when they're young, wait till they're in their 30s or 40s when nobody's competing for them, and then say, okay, let me lock down a guy. By this time, you have no leverage to do so. So you must, if you're going to have a guy, you got to share.
Okay. Jason, I want to correct what you just said quickly. And then I got another question for you from a more broader perspective. The correction is, you said that 80% of women are looking for 20% of men. 100% of women are looking for 20% of men. 100% of them.
Well, technically not. I understand what you're trying to say, which is why we say the overwhelming majority are, 8 out of 10 are, but it's not all of them, because you do have females who, like the pastor chick who just got off the phone. Well, she's looking for somebody who's emotionally sensitive. Well, he's not in that guy's not in that top 20%. You see what I mean? He's not in the top 20%. She had her options after all these years, and she's still not looking for what you're thinking of in your mind. That she's not looking for that. So there's a segment of the females, for whatever reason, and they have their reasons. Maybe they were young, they were shy, they're socially awkward, not really hot chicks, or they come from a background where they're deficient and they're looking to overcompensate. Let me get me a guy who can emotionally cater to me. She values that more than is he resourceful? Is he competent? Is he intelligent? Is he aggressive? Is he productive? Is he building more? Is he going to build a legacy? No, I need to make sure he's emotionally going to cater to me. I value that more than anything. And I don't care if he has a job. I don't care if he doesn't work. I don't care. I'll love him I just want somebody who's going to love me. So that's the reason why. And you're laughing because you understand you stumble across plenty of those kind of females. So that's what I'm saying. It's not 100%. It's really, there's 80% of them going for 20%. And then there's 20% of the females who don't have a problem picking from the bottom 80%. But as you saw, even then they are particular about what they want from the bottom 80%. So that still leaves the majority of that bottom 80% of men struggling. I won't say it leaves them virgins, but it leaves them struggling.
Yeah, no, I definitely understand that. I guess the lens I was looking at was I don't think a girl wakes up and says, where can I find the most average guy in the world? But I do get what you're saying. There's like these preceptor qualities that they could overvalue in different circumstances. All right, this is my question for advice for you. So I'm 32 years old. I pay taxes on $122,000 in 2021. Would you recommend I get married based on this current cultural landscape?
How old are you again?
32.
Okay, no. And the reason why is because you have done. I want to definitively say this because these young fellas keep asking me about this kind of thing, and I referenced this on my Patreon. I think I might have referenced this last week here. I do not recommend that you guys get married at this point in your lives, and the reason because the landscape has fundamentally changed. This is not our grandfather and our great-grandfather's world. The rules right now are different. Now, there is going to be an upcoming change. Now, let me be very, very clear. The age of females screwing up the landscape and the men having to sit back and tolerate it, actually, that's about to change here within the next 20 years. And I'm going to have a program I'm working on now, which is going to explain, Jason, no, definitively it will change. And understand something. A lot of the stuff they've been getting away with, you're going to see that change radically here. You haven't heard anybody else tell you why. I'll be getting to that here shortly. But what I am going to say is you guys don't have enough life experience. You're still figuring women out. By the time you get to the age of 40, brother, you done seen it all. You've seen it all. There's a reason why they can't pull this crap on us when we get in our late 30s and our 40s and older, because we've been with enough females. We done seen every game, every fakery, every trickery, every skullduggery, every lie, every pretty faced chick who turns into a chameleon later. We done seen it all. But if I put you out there at 20, the problem is you don't have enough life experiences to recognize that. There's a reason why generals in the military ain't 25 years old. You can join the military at 17, but you can't lead at 17. I don't care how damn good you think you are. You can come holler back at us when you 40 or 50. You need life experiences.
I was in the Navy and my captain on my submarine was 42 years old when he took command.
And there's a reason why you need more life experiences. So for you fellas here, if you're getting your paper straight and everything like that, I need you all to do a lot more vetting and a lot more dating and a lot more meeting. Y'all need to meet some scandalous chicks. You need to meet some scandalous broads, but don't have children with them and don't get them pregnant. Eventually the real thing will come out and you're not going to like it. In some cases, it's going to put you through the emotional ringer, but now you're going to come out of that a lot more intelligent because it will be impossible. You're now going to learn warning signs, not just warning behavior, because what the last chick did isn't what the next one will do. But what you'll be looking for are markers of dishonesty, markers of untrustworthiness, markers of avarice, markers of being two-faced. That comes with time. You got a season for that. You have to meet a wide variety of people. You have to encounter them and deal with them and see how they move so that you can start discerning the difference between their words and their actions. And so you can be accurate. And the reason why you want to be accurate is so that when you do find I don't like to say the one, but when you do come across one of the females who isn't on that, you will be able to actually identify her because oh, you don't have any of those traits. Here's one of the things in particular here. If you all go ahead and take a look at your screens right now, we talk about older women. Right now on your screen, this is the one I like to use most, the one that shows Robin Givens, Stacey Dash, and Jasmine Guy. You take a look at their eyes. The eyes are the windows to the soul. And you take a look at Robin Givens' eyes. Her eyes haven't changed since the 1980s. She is every bit as cold, cruel, and calculating today in her eyes as she was then. She is every bit as aggressive as she was then. Jasmine Guy, only slightly less so. Stacey Dash is truly the epitome of clueless. But my point is, you can understand that that's what you don't get that. You don't get to learn how to read people's faces, read a woman's eyes. You don't get to read her body language without experience, brother. That's not something you can pick up in the damn summer, watching Pornhub. That's going to take years to develop the ability to do that. Now, you say you're in the military. Now, obviously, you're in the Navy, so it's not like you were going on missions like that. But what I'm saying is you are a black male, and you made it to the age of 30. I'm assuming you got some. I find it difficult to believe that a black male can make it to the age of 30 without learning that, by the way, we got to learn how to read a room. When we walk into a room, we got to be able to tell if we're in a bad situation. Black men get killed every day and every weekend, not being able to tell the energy in this room just changed. Somebody just walked in here. Yeah, I see those guys the energy in here just changed. I'm looking at them. They don't look like the rest of us. But they dress like us. We at the club. Yeah, but they don't. I'm looking at his eyes. We're looking around for females, and he's looking with a look that don't say I'm looking for a female. He's looking for something else. Now, that takes experience. I went to that long, drawn-out explanation to say that takes experience. That takes seasoning. And you fellas today, you are dealing with the most calculating group of females that's ever existed. They are coming out the gate. They've had decades of Oprah, the state system. The social workers are all females. So they all got each other's backs. And they're teaching them at a young age. The college admissions people, they're teaching them at a young age how to get over on you. Everybody's targeting you. And you need time to learn the ropes so you know what you're protecting yourself against. And that don't happen by 31, except in a very few cases. Holla back at me when you're 40. And don't be scared. Oh, I don't want to wait that long. Dude, what the hell are you in a hurry for? What the hell are you in a hurry for to lose every damn thing you got? No. Take the time to learn. It is better to wait and do this right than to hurry and just hope for the best. Females have to rush. You don't. And remember what that plaque says for anybody who had a good manager at work. A lack of planning on your part does not constitute a crisis on mine. Young lady, if you didn't get yourself together so that the man could immediately recognize that you straight before now, you just got to wait until I can see it. And that's just it. And if it takes me till I'm 40 or 50, well, guess what? It'll take till I'm 40 or 50. In the words of Denzel Washington, I got time to wait. You don't, but I do. Stack your paper, double your income once every 24 to 36 months. That's what you focus on. And when you get to that point, brother, you will be able to choose anyone, anywhere at your leisure. And you'll have the experience to be able to make sure you're give yourself the opportunity to make the right decision. And even if it's not, you'll be so seasoned that you'll be able to recover from anything that happens to you with 100% confidence. You can do so. A 31-year-old can't do that.
Let me, I just want to say in closing, I was a person who was very much so appreciative of what Kevin Samuels was able to do inside of the culture for Black people. And I will tell you, with respect to you, that I was a major fan of his work, not because of who he said he was, irrespective of whether that's true or not, because of the clarity and the conciseness of the message he promoted. And so it felt like a large part of what he was speaking towards was an opinion of mine that he naturally understood. And so I will say I'm extremely grateful for the piece you did on Tom Likas in his response to this is what happens when you spend a career stealing other people's work.
Well,
I'm very much so appreciative of
just
that.
Just to clarify here, though, Kevin would have told you to go ahead and get married now. Why are you waiting? You'll never know. You can never be 100% certain. So just to be clear, a lot of you all made a very simplistic calculation because the most important thing was understanding, okay, it's good to open up a national dialogue where you're questioning social norms. That did happen. I challenge anyone who says they actually got an actionable answer beyond that. Beyond that, I challenge anybody to just tell me what was the actionable, practical answer you received beyond that. It's good that somebody hit a brake pedal, but that was coming in. First of all, the brake pedal was already hit long before then. This is just a good symbol of it. I challenge anybody to say that they did anything more than say, well, we're questioning norms. Okay, but where do we go from here?
But Jason, let me just say, sometimes a bullhorn, it is a major event. You know, sometimes being able to broadcast on that level to reach that many people, you know, take the comedic side out, take the disrespect, take the aggression, take the he hates black women, your mama black, take all that stuff out and look at the period of the message that says the vast majority of women would say men in my demographic are not good enough for them, which blows my mind, which blows the men in this class between $80,000 and $150,000 a year mind. It says, how are we not good enough for you? You're not good enough for us. You know, I mean, there was a mismatch.
Once again, brother, that's an overly simplistic thing because the majority of his audience were not high value men. That was a great, big, huge shadow boxing thing they did when he did allow his audience of males to call in. The overwhelming majority of them proved the women right. They were not the kind of men that the women wanted to be with. His audience actually was composed of exactly the type of men that the women did not want to be with. So he had to be spokesperson because if he let his audience speak, the majority of them were actually just saying, okay, speak for us, and then turn right around and prove every criticism the women had to say was absolutely correct. There were a few outliers like yourself. But the only place you all get real sustenance is over here because I don't deal in theories. I don't deal in hypotheticals. I deal in literals. You're not going to get there by telling these fellas, well, you'll never know. Yeah, you will. Yes, you will. You will know. If I give you enough time, you damn right you will know. So welcome to the Black Book. I'm glad to see that you're over here now. Welcome to the dark side. We have cookies. And like I say, just to make sure I'm clear about that and everything, I know and I understand, you know, a lot of folks there, it opened up a discussion. That's perfectly fine. You can go ahead and do that. That opened up a discussion. That's perfectly fine. But there's a lot to learn in that regard. There's a lot to learn. And for you younger cats, don't let somebody sit up here and psych you out. Don't let them psych you out and make their problem yours. Don't let that happen. By the way, if I ask you to join the room and you don't, we got to remove you. So, come one, come all. While I'm doing that, let me get caller from area code 804. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from? Okay, caller from 804 has been abducted. Caller from area code 267. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, this is Tammy from Williamsport.
Okay.
And after the weekend.
Timmy is on her Obama phone.
The first question is, I know you disagree with men staying home and being a particular part of, stay-at-home mother, which I somewhat agree. I do agree. What happens if you, in a situation, with the educated, and then he, I had a professor who, he was a math, his wife was a CEO, and he had two daughters, and he oversee everything, and basically.
Okay. Timmy, do you have a question?
Yes.
What's the question?
Could there be a situation where a man take responsibility of parenting the child, and is he still can keep his masculinity, or no?
Yeah, that can happen, but you would have to make sure that he's qualified those other things. The problem with our jailbird earlier was he hadn't qualified anything. He found a roly-poly failure. Right. He was looking for somebody to give him a safe harbor in the storm. He wasn't producing anything of his own, so he's got to have his masculinity together first. If he doesn't, then yeah, that's a problem. So no, you got to have that together beforehand. You can't. Masculinity is not something for on-the-job training.
Can you give an example
Yeah, if he's able to do all the things that a working, productive man would do, and you two have made a choice between the two of you that you have agreed that that should occur, but that would be in very rare circumstances. That'd be in very rare circumstances.
Oh. Okay.
Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller from area code 202. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Jason, this is KB out of DC.
KB out of DC. What's on your mind?
What's going on, man? So, 24, man. I work for an energy drink company doing sales, making good money. But I mean, you kind of answered my question. It was, should I settle down at this point? Should I start looking for that one?
No. N-O, absolutely not.
Yeah, you
no.
already answered it.
You are, for you fellas there who haven't seen the peak value chart that I've been showing you here for years. Women, a man in a relationship, a man brings his resources. In a relationship, the woman is the resource. For that reason, both of you have something that potentially can start losing value. Only problem is hers starts its decline in its mid-20s. You're supposed to be hitting your stride. Yours doesn't gain its value until your mid-30s. So what I'm saying is, I don't deal with dating. I don't care about dating. Let's discuss power dynamics. What will put you in the most powerful position you can be in a relationship with an employer when you've got as many skills as you can? Okay, so your skills are your resources. What puts you in the most powerful position that you can be in politics? Well, your connections and ability to get things done. Okay, your competence is your resource. What puts you in the most powerful position that you can with a woman? Your ability to produce. So if you want to put yourself in the most powerful position, you should, if you're going to make a lifelong decision that you're going to be stuck with, you need to wait. You need to wait until the advantages are on your side, because a female is born with the advantages on her side. She's born with it. You got to work for yours. She's just born with it. You got to go earn yours. Give yourself the time to earn the ability so that you have the most leverage, so that you can get a man who's got leverage needs to be with a female who's got leverage. You don't need to be mixing and matching. So your job is to make sure that you get into someone who's got herself in that position. If she qualifies, because once you've built something for yourself, you're now looking for the proper candidate who will caretake what you're doing and going to deal with you for real. But that takes time. So for you fellas here today, I'm a big proponent of you learning the world, talk to a wide variety of females, learn these things, because your mama's lying to you. Your mothers, by and large, is very few mothers out there who are going to sit you down and say, here's how these females are. Very, very few. So most of you guys are going to have to learn it on your own.
Okay. Follow-up question, and I can hang up after this, but coming out of sales as yourself, what's the pivot once you're tired of sales? What would you say that next door to start to look to at 28 and 30 that I should be looking for?
Well, I mean, sales is a position. In the 21st century, you need to have a skill. So unless like you work for a pharmaceutical company or something, but sales is a position. You need to have a skill.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here. Now, please keep in mind now on tonight's program, we are dealing with critiques, hates, and debates. It's Friday the 13th. I am your host, Jason Black. And the phone is in your hands here, so you can go ahead and give us a call if you have a critique, hate, or debate. Tonight's program is for critiques, my critics, haters, and debaters. The phone lines are wide open for you. Zoom is open as well. You can go ahead and see the link for that at the top of the chat room there. We've been wide open and rolling out here tonight. Let me get caller from area code 860. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what up, Jason? It's me, Ro, man, 860. I had a question for you. This is for Black First, as well as what is your definition of Black First? Is it global, or is it strictly in America? The reason why I'm asking is because you came up with the A1 code, and you were saying that the Africans need to establish a code in their own, which kind of leads me to believe that the B1 code is for Black American people. Is that the case?
White supremacy is global. So the solution for white supremacy and your acknowledgement of it should be global. As it stands right now, only those of us from America, and with an exception for those in Britain, you got a good core of those as well. But other than that, we're the only ones who seem to understand that there's such a thing as white supremacy, and we're actually doing something about it. Black Folk Foundational is actually leading the way. For everybody else, we lead the way and set the tone. But as it stands, no, white supremacy is global, and understanding that about blackness should be global as well. Now, what it should be and what's actually happening are two separate things, but it should be. Okay, I think he's been abducted. Well, certainly, like I say, definitely here. I want to keep the phone lines open for critics, haters, or debaters here. I didn't want to get into a bunch of general questions, but if you are somebody who has a critique, hate, or debate, this has been your opportunity to go ahead and give us a call here. Let me see. Don, I see you there on Zoom. Let me go ahead and get you up and going here. Don on Zoom. All right, you can go ahead and speak. Make sure you have your mic and everything turned on, brother. I can't enable that for you. Okay, it says that you didn't connect your audio, y'all. He's looking there like your grandmother. I don't know. Which one of these buttons did he hit? I don't understand. Is it the left one? Is it the right one? I don't know which one it is. I'm trying to figure it. This newfangled.
Okay, how's my audio?
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
There you go. He figured out the right setting there for that Commodore 64. All right. that Texas Instruments. He got his Texas Instruments straightened out there. I appreciate it. That Windows 95. I know it's you holding on, brother. You holding on.
No, I got it in.
And what is your critique, hate, or debate?
It was the whole idea about high value men.
Okay.
And, high value in this society for a black man is really what you make it. Because my experience is this, I did what I was supposed to do according to society to be that high value man. Go to school, get your degree so you get a good job. That doesn't always work out for black men. I would say more times than not, it doesn't work out for black men.
Well, okay. Well, define doesn't work out for black men. Doesn't work out how?
Put it this way. I got my MBA from KU, and I tried for years to get positions that were, commensurate with my education and my experience. I got one return call.
Well, but that's okay. But if you've been a follower of mine for any length of time, you already know what the flaw was there. What was the flaw?
I think really looking back on it, I should have been more engaged in being a tradesman.
Thank you. But why? Okay. Whoa, slow down. But you got an MBA. So what was the problem? Well, nobody would think that an MBA would have less value than getting a skilled trade. So why is it that you now see getting an MBA as having been a mistake? Why?
Because my classmates' ink was whiter.
Wait a minute, say it again.
My classmates' ink on their degree was whiter.
And there's the real issue. What you got was a degree that you didn't understand. You didn't understand what an MBA really was and how it's really applied. An MBA is simply one of those degrees that companies use in order to justify getting white folk to leapfrog the rest of them. Other than that, it doesn't actually do anything. You can't tell anybody what your MBA quote does or what you do with it, other than it's supposed to pre-qualify you for something, which is exactly what it does. And all it really does is just say, oh, thanks. We're so glad you got your MBA here. Yeah, we'll call you. Don't call us. And that's basically what it is. So an MBA is right up there with psychology, sociology, liberal arts. It's right up there with those. It's one of those subjective hotel management. It's right up there with those degrees that you get it, and it's the recruiters will make it sound like this is great and wonderful, and it can be, but only if you can get a company to give you the same benefits that they're going to give to the white kids. But MBA was made to get white kids to leapfrog everybody else. So it's not that you didn't have value. It was that, like a lot of folk, you were misled.
Mr. Business, let me tell you, you are 100% on point, and I wish I had met you 20 years ago, okay? Because that's how long it was, or actually 21 years ago, because that's how long it's been since, I graduated and got my MBA. And I'm going to tell you, I was born with an entrepreneurial spirit. So my thing was, okay, y'all don't want to let me get into one of them 6-figure positions. Okay, I'll take one of these little jobs. I'll learn your business. And if I see the horizon, which is, I did get some skills. So if I can see the horizon, I'm coming in. I'm gonna be your competitor. And the thing was every place I've worked, I shine. Industries I've never worked in before. Number 1 employee of the year, my first year. So it is. I wish brothers would really unlearn and relearn. Because when they took the trades out of the schools,
we haven't really had this kind of conversation. You have to understand this is a really big social realignment. Coming out of the world, I don't want to get too far off in the paint, but coming out of World War II with Eisenhower, the world had a big realignment. Germany forced the world to realign the way it was doing. Germany had actually made leapfrogs over everybody else. I mean, jet engines, rocket technology, freeways. So the world found out, okay, we got a lot of catching up to do in this regard. So what they did was they recalibrated the schools. So for the boys, it was trades and engineering. For the girls, it was home ec. And that was the way it was up until you get to the 80s. Now they want to put in gender confusion and things. But worse, individuals are being given either obsolete or completely erroneous information. And what they really want to do is have you as a good employee. Now, here's the kicker about it. You're going to go off to go to college, go chase your degree and everything. That's great. That's wonderful. You take a look at the biggest, most powerful companies in the world right now. They were started by folks who didn't get out of college. Facebook, Microsoft, Instagram, Google, Twitter. We can go down the damn list. The college wasn't what built those. Having a good idea, ability to execute, and access to a boatload of capital. That's what did that there. And in other schools, like I say, these are things I had to learn. I started learning this. Now, I started investigating this early in life. So I started investigating this when I was an adolescent. But if you don't come from a family or an environment that's able to, and I did it the hard way. I'm still not imagine where I would be if I actually had real resources at a very young age. Imagine where I would be today. But what I'm saying is I had to learn all this because there's also a big market in hiding this information. I mean, knowledge is the biggest power out there, and somebody who doesn't know what you know is never going to be able to think to fight you. So you don't have to worry about that. If you can just keep the knowledge secret, and they have very, very big incentive to keep it secret. So if you're not around people who can game you up about it, who can let you know, okay, getting a job is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but that might not be the lane for you, depending on what it is. Well, I want an MBA. Now, someone like me who knows that MBA is a trap, I'm taking you to the side. Well, come over here, Don. Let me ask you, why do you want that MBA? Well, I want to run business. Well, MBA has nothing to do with running business. But the name says, I know what the name says, but it has, just like a finance degree has nothing to do with being a bank manager. It has nothing to do with handling finance. It actually doesn't. Your master's in business administration doesn't have anything to do with mastering a business. Has nothing to do with that, ironically enough. And if nobody explains it, then you run down the circle and you're looking at the white kids' results and yours and like, how in the hell did this happen? So we're really the first generation that's actually untangling this knot. We're the first generation that's actually sitting down and saying, hey, let's compare some damn notes. And then hopefully you come across somebody like me who will tell you not just that an MBA doesn't work, but I can tell you why it doesn't work. And not some babble about, well, the white man just keeping you down. The schools they just holding you back. It's like, no, an MBA does work. It just doesn't work for you because companies don't use an MBA the way you think they do. In a egalitarian world, your MBA would have been fine. In the one we in, your MBA works. It just doesn't work for you, not the way it works for them. Well, what do I do about it? We got to be more creative. And therein lies the solution. So becoming a high value man is always going to be the same thing. In this context, it's always going to be the same thing. What we have to understand is not to go down blank roads, not to go down dead ends, not to go down false alleys. You can't rely on your parents' and grandparents' institutional knowledge. You can't. Why? Because coming out of World War II, what worked for them doesn't work for us anymore.
Right.
Remember, we had a very big manufacturing base back then. What worked for our grandparents and parents does not work for us. It ain't there anymore. GM ain't there no more like that. All these other companies, they're not there anymore like that. We have to do something that they didn't have to do. We have to be more creative. We have to make it work for us. We're going to have skills that we can use on our own, at least to supplement our income and possibly to be the foundation of it. And that's a hard thing because sending somebody to school is a technical ability. If you keep going to class, you can technically learn. Sitting you down and saying, I want you to turn $1 into $5. Now that's creative. And most people don't have that. It sounds technical, but in reality, that's creative. How do I do it? Any which way you want to. Any which way? What the hell are you talking about? Any which way? What alchemy? Was it got a multiplier? No. How do you turn $1 into $5? Because if you can turn $1 into $5, you could turn $1 into $1 million.
You invest in yourself. And that's what I've been doing as an entrepreneur after I left these companies that wanted to pay me little and screw me over anyway. Oh, okay. I'm going to take what you taught me. And now I'm your competition. So that $1 in gas, I'm investing it to make $30 on this assignment. And I'm taking that $1 and I'm buying this machine and I'm placing it and I'm getting $90 a month for it. So I'm learning several different lanes of streams of income to keep it pushing. And you know what? Now, finally, at this age, yeah, I might want to think about marriage. Turning 58 in July, most high willing. Yeah, now I might think about marriage.
Well, I mean, at least now you've got yourself straight, and now finances and building yourself are no longer a primary concern. Now you can focus on legacy and at your leisure. You've learned the ropes. It's going to be very hard to pull anything over on you and get over on you. It's going to be very hard for another person to do that at this point. So you're dealing with the world now from a position of strength. And like I said, I would rather see you wait and get it right than to see you hurry just so you can make a mistake that could have easily been avoided if you had been more patient. Because as men, we got to ask ourselves this question: what the hell's the rush? What are you rushing for exactly?
Could you imagine if I had to deal with this and be married? Oh, that would have been a divorce.
It's rough. It's hard to be an ambitious black man and, trying to explain to somebody who doesn't want to wait or whatever. And, you have a plan. It can be difficult to do that. But the other thing is living long enough so that you can recognize a person who's going to be working with your program, someone who's coming in the door and they want to work with your program, as opposed to somebody coming in the door talking like it, but they really want you to get with their program. I need you to do what I need you to do because I'm trying to get this Finny bag. And it's like, okay, well, I'm trying to win the whole ball game. I'm not trying to do any base hits. I'm trying to knock grand slams out of here. So that's definitely an important thing for you to have. Definitely an important thing.
My mother gave me one piece of advice that was good. The bad piece of advice was go to college, get your degree. The one piece of advice that was good, and I had to test her on it, and she was right. She's like, look, you've never been married. You have no children. Don't be fooling with these women that got children because that ain't gonna be nothing but a headache. But I had to test it twice.
Which, like I say, for the fellas out here, first of all, that's not a young man's thing. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do with themselves or not. I recognize folks are going to do things. First thing I would tell them, that's not for young men. If you're in your 20s, a single mom she's got so much more savvy than you. She's got so much more experience. She's been through experiences by the age of 23 that you have not been through yet. You'll be 30 by the time you get through that. Or if you fool with her long enough, you about to get in line for it. So what you really need to do is, once you have more experiences, a fella in his late 30s who got his act together, he can deal with a single mom. A fella in his 40s or 50s, he know how to handle a single mom. You're like, okay, he knows coming in the door. Okay, I know she gonna be on running some game, but you got game now, so you're both equals. A 22-year-old single mom can run rings around a 23-year-old male. She will run rings around him. She's not going to be able to get anything over on a 38-year-old, a 42-year-old. She's not going to be able to do that. So I'm just like, if those guys want to deal with a single mom, they can. They know not to get her pregnant. They know not to marry her. And they know what she can handle and what she cannot. And if she comports herself a certain way, then he knows, okay, I'm not one of these young boys who sex is new to me. So if I decide to upgrade you later, it's not because I'm desperate. It's because you actually passed it. Otherwise, you don't have to do that. But for the young fellas, they're so eager and so desperate, they'll fall for it. They'll just go for whatever. And it's just very easy to pull the wool over on them because they don't know any better. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight, brother. We appreciate that. Let me go ahead and see if I can get a little bit more out here. Let me see if I can get the phone lines open here. Let me get caller from area code 916. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Mbari from East Palo Alto, California.
All right, Mbari from East Palo Alto. And what is your critique, hate, or debate?
Oh, first of all, I want to say I feel like you are the most important voice in media. So before I hit my debate, I want to say that. I would like to speak to the distinction you draw between non-FBA and FBA and the responsibilities of people that come into this country that are black but not FBA. It seems like you kind of put the onus on them to get with our program, and you reference, being on the yard as a reference and checking the paperwork. But normally, even on the yard, someone has to give you the rules. And my debate is that FTA or FBA people have not reached out well enough to the immigrants that have come into this country to actually give them the rules first before we make criticism.
They wouldn't be here if we hadn't done that.
Well, they would. Yeah, they're here because we did the work to get them here. But once they're here, we have not reached out and said, "Hey, to be in this country, this is what we expect of you."
Okay, sir, that's not true either, because they'll be the first ones telling you ain't no. When we tell them about white supremacy, they'll be the first ones talking about there isn't any. Now, it's not. It's not. Okay, you say some of. Here's the difference. As a group, we don't do that. For them as a group, they give safe harbor, and that is a group practice among them. That is the rule, not the exception. Over here amongst us, it's the exception and not the rule. When somebody among us says there ain't no white supremacy, they get yelled at by all of us. Those folks over there, they're fresh and fit.
They are fresh and fit. But isn't it still incumbent upon us to make sure that we reach out, whether it's with a strong hand or just with whatever?
But that's what we're doing now.
And make sure they know how.
That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing now. First of all, we've been doing it, but that's what we're doing now. The only thing we're doing now is saying, okay, we are putting a pause on prioritizing Pan-Africanism. We're putting a pause on that. And that's what got everybody's attention. Now I said it almost a decade ago. I've said it since then. It's picked up a lot of steam. We're putting a pause on Pan-Africanism. Not that Pan-Africanism cannot be a good thing, but we need to have willing partners, because we've been talking about Pan-Africanism forever. And the bottom line is they're giving us the Marcus Garvey treatment. And we're just now saying, you know what? We're putting a pause on Pan-Africanism until all of y'all understand that we're not going to be played anymore. Now they're taking notice, and take a look at what they're specifically objecting to. So they're getting the message. And that's the whole point. They're picking up what we're putting down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I do agree with mostly, like I said, I do personally think you're the most important voice in media, period, hands down. I'm a student of John Henry Clark and Dr. Ben and the rest of the Grandmaster teachers myself. John Henry Clark was a very big proponent of Pan-Africanism, and I think he felt that we were in the best position to implement Pan-Africanism in this country. So now that you say that we're putting a pause on it because we're not getting the response that we want.
We're putting a pause on it because we don't have partners. Pan-Africanism has been a one-way street where we give and they exploit and take. And then come over here. And and that's something else, like I say, and I really don't talk about this kind of stuff on the business. I really talk about this on the Black channel. But what I will say is that if you want to know what it is that emboldens these immigrants to come over here and act so entitled, like they're better than us, let's be very, very clear. The white folk tell them that. I'll go ahead and tell y'all, I had a conversation with some illegal aliens, and that's what they were saying. You know, the white folk, I was like, the white folk brought y'all over here and whatnot. And he was like, yeah, they said the Americans are lazy. They said the black folk are lazy. So the white folk who brought them over here, and pay them, they're the ones saying, oh, you need to come over here. Well, why? Oh, because the folks there, they're lazy. Then black folks are lazy. You're not lazy like they are, even though you're working for 1/10 of what they're getting. You're not lazy like them. So no wonder they're coming all the way. They come here and show up with an entitlement mentality because they've been told your purpose for being here is the white folk who are here telling them, oh, you're better than those Negroes who are here now. You're better than them. Now, never mind the fact that they done jacked our swag, jacked our clothes, jacked our culture, jacked everything about it. Never mind any of that. Never mind that we made it possible for that. They come here with an entitlement mentality, even knowing full well that it's not. Then they start telling you about how much better they are. They start talking about how much better their quote culture is where they're from. So the whole thing is we're putting a brake pedal on all of this until folks start reciprocating. When they start reciprocating, then we will reconsider, like the mafia. We up until now we've been just signing up everybody in the damn books. The book's been wide open. We've been signing up everybody. We're like the mafia in the 70s. We've closed the books, and we're not going to reopen the books until we find some suitable candidates. But right now, the books are closed. The books are closed until further notice. And guess what? That's got their attention. Yeah, we're not jumping on the brother thing. Everybody got to qualify themselves. At this point, everybody got to qualify. Correct. But we're no longer giving blanket passes. That's all that's happening now. The blanket pass period is over.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, I can agree with that. I mean, as long as there's a pathway to getting back to it, because I think that is the ultimate goal.
They already know how. They already know how. They know damn well. They know what they're doing wrong. They already know how. The thing is, when you let somebody take advantage of you long enough, they lose respect for you. And the only way to get that respect back is by showing them you ain't they punk. It's like, hey, you done mistook niceness for softness. So this is how you set people straight, is letting them know, you're not taking advantage of me anymore. Yeah, you mistook my niceness for softness. Let me show you what's really going on. That's all it is now. Yeah, but they know what they're doing wrong. They've always known. They wanted to see how far they could push us. What they found out is you can push them about this far and no farther.
Okay, my brother. Well, that was my only, out of everything you've ever said, my only debate. No hate and no criticism. Think you're doing an excellent job, man. I'm 55. At the end of the day, like I said, coming up under the Grandmaster teachers, I got that type of knowledge, but no one's doing political analysis the way you are.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
The work.
We're going to go ahead and go over here to Zoom. Okay, the brother is moving the lampshades around here.
Hey, Jason, you have me?
Yes, we hear you here. All right, Kevin, and what is on your mind?
Jacksonville, Florida. Good to hear you.
All right, what's on your mind? What is your critique, hate, or debate?
Well, this might be a possible debate. So there's a lot of talk about what Black people should do as it relates to voting. All right, there's a lot of talk online, social media, mainstream media. We know the outcome of the last election. Black people voted overwhelmingly Democrat, again, got nothing, no tangibles. And everybody else got millions, billions, trillions. Well, we got crack pipes. So how do you think in the upcoming, midterms in the next, 2024, Black people should look at that? What's your ideas on that?
Keep doing what we're doing right now. The very fact that we're having these conversations, everything, these things never proceed fast enough to please anybody. I've been doing this for over a decade, but they get the message. Hell, we just rolled up on James Clyburn. Everybody's got the message. So we're just going to have to keep moving forward like we're doing right now. I can't say it any differently. You're on the right track. You're going to have to keep pushing and keep lighting up as many people along the way as you can. Continue just press forward. It's really that simple. They get it. They got it. They know it. Everybody knows the message. Everybody knows the agenda. What they want to see right now is, are you serious about following through with the other things you said? And now we just got to show them we're serious about it. And we just need a critical mass to do it. That's all.
Okay. Hey, thanks. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here. Let me grab a caller here on Blog Talk. I'm jumping back and forth. I really am. Caller from area code 412. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good evening, Jason Black. My name is Robert. I'm calling from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I have a critique. In your insight on so many dynamics is practically second to none. Is it counterproductive to temper your criticism in a way that will make some men and women not give up on life and to not only define themselves on the material and physical plane? How can you extrapolate your insight to some black men who are content on being parasites on luxury? Women too. I had a situation today, whereas I'm a health professional, and I work in an area where it's practically all Caucasian. And I was so glad to see one of the Pittsburgh Steelers come there and pick up his daughter. And I thought that he would acknowledge me and just shake his head up high. I see you. But he completely ignored me. And I'm his elder, right? But I'm in a professional situation to help special needs children. And that's why I'm allowed on that campus. So how can we get to reach these people who are still content on just, look, I got mine and I'm okay and I don't care about you. I don't even want to look at you.
Okay, here's the real thing about it. Once again, this is one of these things where before now, this was not a conversation, okay? You were just taking the word forward of the mass media that everything was all right. We live in an age where for the first time ever, we're able to conduct all of these weekly town hall meetings on our own without a corporate filter. You don't have CBS rigging the questions and rigging the host and deciding what you discuss and what you don't. We don't have any of that going on. So just recognize this is really the first time that you've actually had us being able to steer and host our own discussions. When we talk about black manhood, it's not some Don Lemon or some corporate shill sitting up here giving them words that were given to them by a white corporation to say, okay, here's what you need to tell black folk to do, which invariably will always be something that doesn't change the status quo. You're hearing about black manhood and decisiveness from black men, and you're hearing about black womanhood from black women. So this is new. This is new. So just understand, we're at the beginning of the beginning. So like what happened here earlier tonight where the young man calls me up and is, well, I don't understand. Why can't I be a stay-at-home dad, after 2 stints in jail? I don't see why I can't do that. He's talking to another man who's sitting up here. I'm not going to soft shoot. That's like, brother, you off code. You're not pulling your weight. I don't understand. This is the first time he ever heard a man sit up here in a non-prison environment and explain to him exactly what's wrong with it. What's wrong with this is you're not pulling your weight. This is another man letting you know we got standards over here as men. We got a code over here as men. And you are not respected among the men. Forget the women. You're not respected among the men. Now, coming from a prison environment, you understand that's deadly ground to be on. You're on deadly ground to be among a bunch of men, and they don't have respect for you. You out here on the streets, we got no respect for you the way you moving right now. The way you rolling right now, we got no respect for this. And I can see why you in this mess. But just like in prison, it doesn't matter if you was a Christian. It doesn't matter if you were a choir boy. When you go to prison, you're a member of the gang as soon as you get off the bus. And if you don't get with the program, somebody's coming for you. You don't get it. Well, I'm a Christian. I'm a pacifist. I don't get involved. Or you going to get involved or you going to get got. And just that quickly. So now he's out here in the streets. We got to do it the exact same way. No, they understand this. We don't treat them like children and try to educate them. What we do is tell them, these are the rules. This is the get down. We're not debating it with you. This is what it is.
That's an excellent point, Jason, and I agree with you 100%. But I'm wondering, here's what I see. I'm a 72-year-old man, but I'm in shape. I don't have no tattoos, no earrings, and I don't walk around with house shoes on. And I'm trying to set the image for these young men of how to be men and how to act like a man and how to walk in the right way. You know, I'm in shape. I do
but that's new for
arts,
them.
not martial arts.
But that's new. You got to understand, this is new for them, though. So they're not used. Remember, 80% of your boys grew up in a home where there wasn't a man. So this is new to them. Right. To you understand what it is, but to them, that's brand new. They've been raised by a bunch of hoes who the government was their daddy and the government was their husband. So the idea of submitting to the authority of an actual physical man is anathema to them. They don't know what that's like. This is totally counterintuitive. So you're walking in like, okay, everybody snap to attention, and you're like, it's not happening. Yeah, because you're probably only the first, maybe second. And the real thing is, you're dealing with these young males, but are you in a position of authority? Because if you're not, if you're relying on respect for your elders, you can forget about that. And by the way, as you know, I'm one of the people who killed that sacred cow, happily turned that son of a gun into hamburger, because we couldn't trust the elders anymore. So does it make it a little more challenging? Yes. But I got to tell these young cats, don't sit up here and just throw respect at anybody. You can't trust these old niggas. You're going to have to make sure they're on the up and up. So one way or another, that's got to happen. That's the bad news. Here's the good news. The good news is, young people listen to somebody who is in the position they want to be in. So let's be very, very clear. First and foremost, this is what I need you all to understand. If you want to know why it is that from a young age I started chasing finances, resources, competence, ability, it is because as a young man, I didn't really respect a lot of those older cats. And as I've gotten older, I have less respect for them now than I ever did. But most of that's because they're not in the position that I want to be in. They were not. I'm not going to sit up here and listen to some old nigga ramble at me and I'm taking a look at his life. I don't want to be in your life. I wouldn't want to trade places. If your advice is going to get me where you are, I'm not listening to that. I'm not listening to you based on some damn, elder authority or some chronological obligation. No, I'm going to listen to you if I discern that you've got reliable knowledge and information to lean on. In other words, if I take a look, and I'm going to look at your life to see if your life reflects what you claim you know. Now, if your life reflects what you claim you know, you're going to have a lot easier time getting them to listen. But if your life and what you claim you know are not in sync and lining up with each other, yeah, it's going to be an uphill fight. It sure will.
I've actually developed 2 businesses, and I've employed a lot of the young people, and so I'm trying to walk the walk instead of just talking. You understand me? I'm trying to.
Yeah, what you have to do in that situation there, you got to have a couple of them that you've groomed to stick with you, because here's the real problem.
Okay.
It's kind of like music, things change, and you might be up to date on some of the music out here and whatnot, but to be totally honest with you, it's constantly moving. And just like your parents didn't really understand what was going on with you by the time you were a teenager, brother, you don't know what's going on with these young men like that. At 70 plus years old, you're so far outside of their experience that even though you're sympathetic to it, you don't really know the frame of reference. So you need some younger people who are your understudies. You need some dudes on your team who are closer to their frame of reference. You're too far outside of it. You're sympathetic, but you're too far outside to understand it, because every generation, you and I both know in reality, this is the same thing that goes on all the time. Every generation goes through. Everybody says this is unique. It's never unique. It's just your turn to do it. But to learn their language and the nuances of what it is that really identifies with them, you need somebody closer to it. You need that.
I respect you for your insight, and you've really helped me out a lot tonight by what your commentary. But last thing I would like to say, I have one fear right now. How can we reach these people who see obviously how certain political parties have turned their back on us and given tangibles to other people in spite of our loyalty to them. And it seems like they can't even see it. I mean, it's like
they can't.
I understand what you're saying because
no, they can't. They can do it. I want you all to understand. No matter what we're talking about, reparations or anything else, the bottom line is that there are only two types of black people: those who recognize that racism and white supremacy exists and fight it, and those who recognize that racism and white supremacy exists and go back to picking the cotton. And that's really what it is. So it's not that they don't see these things. They do see them. Remember, you got folk who will sit up here and look you in the eye and say, well, one Trump is better than Biden. It's like, okay, they're both the same, actually. Well, I would rather get beat on by Biden. Okay, when somebody gives you that type of response, recognize they mean what they're saying. It doesn't offend them. It doesn't bother them. So they're treating it like sports. So you're taking it deadly seriously. They're treating it like sports. So how do you deal with that? Exactly what we're doing and what you should be doing. This is a grassroots effort. This isn't something that's going to come from the corporations down or the cable media down. This is something that is going to come from the soil up. I'll let you have the last word.
You gave me hope. You gave me hope, and I really appreciate and respect you so much. And I'm not trying to fatten your head up, but this is my observation of the people I've been experiencing throughout my life, from everybody, from all the people who have knowledge, right knowledge, and spiritual knowledge, and everything like that. And you, for whatever reason, you were placed in a position to be who you are right now, and I respect you for that. And keep up the good work, brother. Okay.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Please do give us a call again here. Like I say, just with everything here, including what I do here on the business, everybody would love to turn the world overnight, but that wouldn't be a good thing either. If the world could be changed overnight, could you imagine the chaos and calamity that we'd be in? We'd be waking up in a new world every 24 or 48 hours. So it's actually a good thing that it's very slow and takes a very long time to be able to change things. It's actually a good thing. It's actually a good thing. So that's the kind of thing you want it to be. That's the kind of thing you want. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program, either on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat. So Jay Freeman Blackman, thank you very much. Divine Feminine, I see you. She doing what she always does. My dude Jafar Kazim and everybody else there in Super Chat, I see you out there. Definitely. I appreciate you being here with us tonight. And good thing on Zoom here. Glad to have you all there. You're making use of it and whatnot. So be looking for that going forward here. Got a few more things I'm working on as well. So be watchful for that as well. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of The Business. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, Mr. Jason Black. Join us here, by the way, if you're members of Patreon, we'll be doing that there tomorrow, around noontime Central. So be joining us there as well. And until next time, my brothers and sisters from around the world, remember, handle your business, or your business will handle you.